Disruptors, Carrie here, and welcome to another episode of Live with Disruptive Nutrition, and it's going to be a little different this time. So, a lot of you know who Mark Macdonald is, and if you don't, you totally should. So, he is what I like to call the father of PFC every three. He is the man who, more than 20 years ago, as a celebrity nutritionist, started figuring out that the way that kind of conventional nutrition training and what everybody was teaching wasn't working for everybody. And he realized through all of his research that they were missing a major factor that nobody was taking into consideration. And it's the foundation of what now he has really discovered and has taught for more than 20 years. It's the foundation of what we teach at Disruptive Nutrition. It's all around blood sugar stabilization. We know that our body will it's its goal to have its blood sugar balanced, and it will do it in one of two ways, either on its own or through food. And because stabilized blood sugar over time actually puts our body in homeostasis, it was the missing piece, but it still is. And that's what's crazy. More and more is starting to come out around blood sugar stabilization, but people keep thinking about it after they have diabetes, after they're on medication, which will never reverse it. It will just tame the beast for a while. But as soon as you have diabetes or pre-diabetic, you put yourself at risk for every other metabolic disease out there, like high blood pressure, high cholesterol, obesity, stroke, cancer, and dementia is so much more likely. In fact, Alzheimer's is often called and referred to as type 3 diabetes. So we know that we have to do differently. And it's just so crazy to me that more than 20 years ago, he figured this out. So Mark Macdonald is Chelsea Handler's nutritionist, and he literally knows everybody. He has traveled in 67, I think, countries around the world. He wrote a New York Times bestseller called Body Confidence. And he's also one of my really good friends. I was actually originally trained through his certification process because my life was changed through one of his certified coaches, and I had to learn from him. And through the years, we have connected, and he loves what we teach at Disruptive Nutrition. We work on many projects together, and we have some really, really big projects in the work. He's one of now my best friends. He and his wife, Abby, we are just close. We are a team. And he even refers people over to Disruptive Nutrition. He realizes that, yes, he has taught the world about food, but what we bring at Disruptive Nutrition from that foundation is more than he even realized was needed. It was around the mindset, around our behavior, around being able to do something consistently, understanding our time management and how to do all of the pieces behaviorally that need to be done to implement this approach. So that being said, Mark and I actually are recording a series every week, every few weeks. We're really working on all of that, but we recorded the first one and we actually put it through his networks, and we've gotten such great feedback from it that we thought we'd share it with you. So it's sort of like the basics of what we teach, but in a tag team with Mark and I, really focusing on our body, our mind, and then how to make this a lifestyle forever. So today's podcast, today's episode is really going to be centered on being able to hear from the guru himself and how we work together to merge our zones of genius to literally transforming people's lives. So I'm excited to be able to just bring you this recording. I'll be watching it alongside with you if you are live. So put your comments in. Tell me what you're taking away from this. And I'll be sure to continue to share more and more of these episodes as we record them for you. All right, guys, go watch now. Let's go.
Hello, everybody. Mark Macdonald here. And I am here with one of my best friends in the world, behavior specialist, someone that has inspired me to really focus on the power of the mind. And her name is the one and only Carrie Lapoli. Carrie, how you doing tonight?
I am good. So excited. We have lots to talk about.
We do. So, Carrie and I have been talking a lot, and, we look at food, and I just want to share, as I was talking to Carrie last week, I kept thinking about my wife, Abby, and when she was pregnant with Hunter, and this was in 2004. And Carrie, you know the story. She was down. She's a small. Abby's 5'1". She's small. Angela Senti out there, like her and Abby kind of compete for each other's height. And she had a big baby, and she came down with gestational diabetes. And because of her fibromyalgia, she had some insulin challenges, and she did a lot. And when we went with a registered dietitian, there was so much information there that just wasn't really connecting with how we needed to manage it. And they wanted to give her insulin and other things during her pregnancy. Now we were able through proper macro balancing, protein, fats, and carbohydrates every 3 hours, we call it PFC3, to balance that. And then I thought about, as she was pregnant with Hope, the same thing. And then when I was at Hope School, the fall festival, all these parents started coming up to me. And Karen, we talked about this, that November is Diabetes Awareness Month. And literally over 50% of the population right now are either type 2 diabetic or they're insulin resistant. And over 75% of people are overweight or obese, and people are looking for answers. And when we were talking, we said, let's start doing a weekly series. So we're going to kick this off. This is going to be about your body, your mind, and your lifestyle. And what we're going to do is I'm going to share a quick thing. Then Carrie's going to give out, she works with her clients. Then she's going to share something about the mind as a behavioral specialist. And then I'm going to share my thoughts with the clients I work with. And then we're together going to share lifestyle. And the goal, whether it's going to be a live like right now, whether it's going to be a video, whether it's going to be a blog, is to empower you at 1% progress to win with your health. How does that sound, Carrie?
I mean, I'm so excited because 1%, it's not a lot, but think about it, Mark. If you did 100 days of 1%, you'd be at 100%. So we are so excited because if we can just all do 1% a day of just showing up for ourselves, it just compounds over time. It's awesome.
So if everyone's ready, I'm on my phone right now. I'm seeing this. I got Keely Pedler right there in Australia, Steph Sharp Ward, Gwen, Dawn. And so if you're feeling like, okay, you're ready for this 1%, let me see a 1% right there in the chat. And our goal when we think about this, and Carrie, just, I know my background, everyone knows, nutritionist, kinesiologist, we've launched movements in 67 plus countries. We've done every type of national, international media. But really what has made a difference for me is when I met Carrie Lipoli and I started to see what she's doing with her brand, Disruptive Nutrition, and how she's actually coaching people from a mind perspective. So I've always understood the power of mindset. We always talk about your why and your spinning plates, as Carrie calls it, and then how to make it a lifestyle. But so much of my work has been on the body, how to balance your blood sugar. And Carrie, I know for the years as an educator, it's always been about the mind. So give everyone, before we dive right in, about who you are and why mindset is so important to you.
Yeah, well, I mean, first of all, Mark changed my life, 10 years ago when I was in a really bad place with my health and my body and the way that I felt about myself, believing that, I was an international educator. I was a spokesperson for Mattel Fisher Price on stage, teaching people about behaviors, about education, doing all the things. And yet every single day I would look at myself in the mirror and weigh myself on the scale and determine my value was based on that number. So after all the diets and all trying to figure it out, when one of my daughters mentioned how all I do is count calories, I realized, oh my gosh, something's got to change. And it was then that I started learning about PFC every 3. I was closer to 40. Now I'm closer to 50. Mark's still older than me, but it's fine. And I had
just about 3 years, that's it.
I had never, ever thought about food being fuel, right? And that I needed to fuel my body. I always thought I had to deprive my body. And what that does to you as a woman and in your own thinking and your beliefs about yourself, I can't have good things. I have to be deprived. But I would say, since when does anything thrive on a deficit? So when I learned this, I was obsessed, literally obsessed with teaching every single person I knew about PFC3. And I got my nutrition coaching certifications and just started kind of like a side hustle, teaching people how to eat because I was doing my education thing. And then people would come back to me after, they'd see, this works amazing. This is the most amazing thing I've ever done. And then 6 months, 8 months down the road, they're like, a year down the road, 8 years down the road, I still get calls now. When I worked with you, it was amazing and it worked, but I fell off. I didn't stick with it. And I was a behavior specialist. I was a special ed teacher and a behavior specialist. And I started getting my brain thinking and I'm like, this works. Everybody's saying that they want something that actually works, that makes us healthier, that makes us not have to obsess about food and count stuff like we're a checkbook. but they weren't sticking with it. And I realized I didn't actually apply the behavioral science I knew around truly changing behaviors for the long term. So when I started adding that into my practice, everything changed.
And what I love, everyone, when to see and to use a lot of Carrie's concepts has just made a difference in all the stuff I do from a media perspective, from our big workplace wellness contracts. And I just want to share, come January 2023, we're hitting all the big national shows. This is the most excited I've been about blood sugar, because this is what I stand for. It's everything from a macro balancing. So I just want you to know, this is our little intro, but I have my little whiteboards now, my little pads, multiple sides. So what we're going to do is, and we'll have great graphics, but the thing is, body's going to be first. I'm going to talk about a body. I'm going to 1%. I'm going to give you one tip today. Then Carrie's going to focus on mind, and she's going to give you one tip. So whether it's a video, a live, all of you are going to leave with tangible assets. We always talk about 100 days of 1%. Imagine if you do 1% for 100 days, you're at 100%. And then the last thing we're going to do is going to be lifestyle. And when you think about this, if you can get your body working, your mind working, and your lifestyle, you're set up. When I went to Hope School, and I know Carrie's got 2 teenage daughters, and when we think about just what kids go through in adolescence, and all the parents don't know what to do, people are looking for information. People are desperate to find out. And I know many of you watching right now are looking for that, and it's about how to do that. So this was our intro. Carrie, are we ready to go? We're going to do some rapid fire. Body
I am excited. Let's go. Yep.
Okay. So the first thing I want to share is we're going to talk about blood sugar balance. And I'm going to just share and before I share my screen, I want to bring out my other side here. And when we think about blood sugar, and just from a science side, your energy source is ATP. So everyone right there, type in ATP. That is your body. It's called adenose triphosphate. And every time you skip a meal, your blood sugar drops. And when that blood sugar drops, you're burning muscle, and then that makes you overeat. So then you overcarb, and you'll release a hormone called insulin, and then you're hungry and you go down. And this causes total instability. It causes you to panic and store, and then store. Panic, so burn muscle, store fat. Burn muscle, store fat. And this is how people are eating right now. Now, what we want to do when we talk about PFC3, and when we really focus on it, it's all about keeping your body in the proper blood sugar balance range. But this is what's going on with people. You wake up in the morning. I want you to think about breakfast. I want you to think about lunch, and I want you to think about dinner. So your first assignment right now is to think about your favorite proteins, your favorite fats, and your favorite carbohydrates. I'm going to help you with this because this is going to be your assignment. Your breakfast is about balancing your plate. So as I share my screen, this is the simplicity of PFC3, that you simply look at where's my protein, where's my carbs, where's my fat. Now, I taught this 20 plus years in 67 countries, in 40 different languages. And let me tell you, whether you're in Greater China, whether you're in Brazil, whether you're in Australia, whether you're in North America, whether you're in South America, whether you're in Europe, people know this concept because this is how you balance your blood sugar. It's this simple. When you do this and you think about a breakfast, a lunch, and a dinner, and those in-between meals, when you get some protein, it affects your blood sugar hormone glucagon. When you get some carbs, it affects the blood sugar hormone insulin, and fat slows down the rate of digestion. So you should be satisfied when you're done with the meal. You should be ready to eat when it's time to eat. So breakfast can be as simple as maybe you do 2 whole eggs or 1 hard-boiled egg, which is your protein and your fat, and an apple. Your mid-morning could be a protein shake, could be a protein bar, could be something quick, like what Hunter does, some sliced turkey with some almonds and a piece of fruit. Lunch could be a wrap, nice and clean. Mid-afternoon, once again, could be a shake, could be a bar, or it could be something even easier where you're looking at maybe you do half a wrap at lunch, half a wrap in the afternoon, and then dinner could be a little filet with a little brown rice and some asparagus. The point is this.
I just made meatloaf for dinner. Like food. We eat food all day.
And I think that's the thing. When we talk about PFC3, it's about living with food freedom. It's about understanding that, yes, it takes, and Carrie, that what I'd ask you. So as we talk about the body, the first concept, what I'm sharing today is blood sugar balance. Understand you balance your protein, fats, and carbs in the right time, in the right balance to win. So when that happens, you release your stored fat, you build your muscle, and families eat together. This is the difference we're going to be making. But Carrie, when we talk about this, we get it all the time. it's hard. It's so much easier to keto or intermittent fasting. We're both married. We both have kids. Can you just talk from your perspective about, of course, making your health a priority is not the easiest thing, but what have you seen the success with your clients?
Well, this is the thing that I say about this. Okay. So first of all, it couldn't be simpler, but it's just like anything, like budgeting your money is pretty simple. You just have to try not to spend more than you make. Simple, not always easy, right? But when we think about protein, fat, and carb, the thing that makes it hard is that people just don't really understand food. They don't understand what proteins and fats and carbs are. And carbs have gotten such a bad rap that people get scared of carbs. And they don't even realize that when you don't eat carbs, you're literally not eating like fruit. It doesn't make sense. And having them together is really what Mark figured out more than 20 years ago is the key, because right, carbs will spike your blood sugar, but protein's going to balance out that spike. And then the fat is going to slow down your digestion and fuel your brain and do all amazing things. You were actually supposed to eat them together. When you actually understand the importance of it, and this is what I do with my clients all the time, because I'm a teacher, I teach. Suddenly, when you know you can do, it might feel hard at first, but one, it's because you don't really know about food. Two, it's because you just haven't really done it before. Just like speaking a new language, it's hard at first, but eventually the more you practice it, the more fluent you become. And this is a whole lot easier than learning a new language. My clients can get totally fluent where they can teach others within a week. And that to me makes it, I mean, let's be honest, like money is much harder to figure out.
Yeah, and just wait till
not that hard.
Wait till we bring Tanya Gustafson on from Canada and show how she makes food taste amazing, or Steph Shop Ward and all of the amazing people that we know that teach and drive this. When I see LaRonda Wallace right here, Don McGee, Shay Mason, I love that. Marta Mello. I think this is why Carrie and I really want to do the series, and we're going to bring on a lot of it. I did a post about Carrie and one of my best friends in the world, Sue Hitzman, who created the Melt Method. It's about teaching people how to get educated and love their body, because that is why people are struggling.
I mean, Mark, so I'm sorry, I totally interrupted.
No, you go.
But I'm just going to interrupt you anyway, because what you changed my life with was, I always say, I don't think you even realized what you were doing when you did it. You were like, this is what works, right? Like, this is just what's supposed to be. What I realized, what you did for me, was I stopped obsessing. I have a client, Karen Lynn, who has 10 years of journals of her weight and every single piece of food she's ever eaten in her life. When you learn PFC every 3, I mean, all food is protein, fats, and carbs. Literally, that is what food is. It is either a protein or a fat or a carb or some sort of a combination. When you can understand more about food, and you understand the right portions and the right frequency, you don't have to write anything down. I keep saying this is why all the men are president, because we have spent our life writing this stuff down in journals. And if we spent more time actually doing the things we were put on this earth to do, imagine what us women could be doing. But that's what you did. You literally freed us from those shackles. And that's what we have to keep sharing with people, because it really, truly is that freedom. And this is the thing. Food serves your body or food serves your soul. You need both. And with PFC, you can have both, because let's be honest. Now, ice cream doesn't serve my body. I actually struggle with dairy, but when I do ice cream night with my kids, I'm not going to not have the ice cream. It's just a fat and a carb. We have to stop giving it so much power and value.
Yeah, I love that. And I think that's why the series that we're going to do every single week, either on our on my Facebook or YouTube or Instagram, we're going to be sharing this. So today, the goal is simple from a body perspective. Understand, I'm going to share my screen one more time. Simply look at this. This is what I'd love everyone to do. So I'd like you to type in PFC3 right now. Just type in PFC3 from the point of.
I love that picture.
Right there. I see right there. Type that in. And then what I'd love you to say is think about today, this week, we talk about 1%, 5 proteins that you love. And if you're ready, you can do in the chat 5 carbohydrates that you love and 5 fats that you love, and build 3 meals. That's all you have to do. And you start there. And what, as long as your actions and your expectations are realistic and your actions support it, you're going to get there. And that's where we want to go. And our goal every single week is to build upon that. The stuff that's going to be coming, and what I've realized, as many of you know, I have incredible partnerships, and I love my partnerships. But what I've been missing is just going back to teaching. And I love to teach and I love to educate. And I want everyone to know that wherever they are in the world, they can come here and they can get educated. And if you can get educated and you understand that, then we change it. Because as much as I've done in the world, I haven't done enough. Because if I did enough, people wouldn't be suffering the way they're suffering. So you're going to see a moment in me that's better than ever before, because at 50 years old, I don't want to see people suffer the way they're suffering. And I don't want people to hate their body. And I just feel like I need to do more in this world to do that. And that's what you're going to see from here. So the first step, understand PFC3. Now, let's move to the mind. So Carrie, the behavioral specialist, taught me so much. What is the 1% that they can learn from you tonight?
Well, I think that it's just so interesting as you say this, because I was an educator, right, for more than 20 years, and my life got transformed by this lifestyle, and I had to teach it to others. And same for you. I mean, really, like, blood sugar is coming out a little bit more, but I'm like, Mark literally 22 years ago figured this out, everybody. We got to give him all the props for that. And I always say, we were not put on this earth to find the right diet or nutritional approach, right? But I feel like you and I kind of were. I feel like that is our mission in so many ways, is to educate people about food, about their bodies, about their lifestyles, how their thoughts and their beliefs dictate their actions so they can go do the things. We're like this catalyst for us to go live a life of purpose. And that is what I really believe that I am truly here to do. And so as I think about the transformation that has to happen in order for us to really do the things we want to do. I always say, when you get to your optimal health, you're going to get to your optimal weight, but it all starts with what we think and what we know and what we believe. Our thoughts and our beliefs dictate our actions. And here's one of the ways that I know that. So my daughter, Grace, who's 17 years old, when she turned 16, she had to buy her own car, and she wanted to buy a Subaru Crosstrek. I had never seen a Subaru Crosstrek before. And don't you know, so she shows it to me and she shows it on phone. This is the car I want. I'm like, oh, it's cute. I went out like an hour later and driving, and I literally saw every other car was a Subaru Crosstrek. How is that possible? Did everybody buy a Subaru Crosstrek that day? No. But I saw it. My brain, like literally my brain said, oh, so we're doing the Subaru Crosstrek thing right now? Okay. I'm going to go out and filter all the things that come at you in this world. And I'm going to show you Subaru Crosstreks. Your brain actually has that power. So depending on what you say to yourself every day, oh, I'm fat. Oh, I hate my body. Oh, I can't eat. Whatever it is, your brain then says, oh, we're doing that. We're doing that sort of like, I feel really crappy about myself thing. I'm going to filter in all the things around you to prove that that narrative is true. And so everything starts with what we think. And the beauty about that is that we can control it. There's a lot of things in life we cannot control. We can control our thoughts. We can control our response. You were absolutely put on this earth for a reason. And one of our mindset coaches in disruptive nutrition, Jeanette Van Leer, always says, a crumpled up $100 bill is just as valuable as a brand new, crisp, clean one. So stop devaluing yourself and recognize that when you tell yourself something different, you'll start to see yourself as something different. And that is the very first step. And it's not like some hokey kind of thing. Literally, I know y'all know that sort of story around a car. That's not by chance. We all have stories like that. That is your brain filtering out what you tell it to focus on.
And I love that, Carrie. Like when we think about this, and just give Carrie some love in the chat there, because every time she talks, I learn about, because her analogies, similar to how I can have the body analogies, this is what she just brings this uniqueness to it that has just made what I teach so much better. And I think whenever you speak, Carrie, I think about hope, and I think about how we train her and teach her relationship with food. And so much about that, if Hope thinks that ice cream is bad and these are bad, then she has a negative relationship with it, where it's just food. Like you have protein, fats, and carbs, and those are macronutrients. And at the end of the day, there's no good and bad. There's just, how does it work in your body and how do you balance it? And if you can teach that, the greatest thing, and I'll say this, that Abby and I have ever done in this world is that we've helped raise our two children to not have a negative relationship with food. They love food. They understand food. They choose food. They use food for their body. They use food for their soul. And they're very at peace with that. So they don't have any of those negative relationships that I grew up with. Growing up with the dieting mom. So I just love that. So what's the 1% thing that everyone can do, because they're going to be building their PFC meals. What's the 1% thing that they can do?
Yeah, I love this. Okay. So when I think about the Subaru Crosstrek, you can put that in your brain for a second. I want you to just start with a little bit of self-awareness. What are the automatic negative thoughts that I seem to tell myself? It's subconscious or it's unconscious. And so I always say self-consciousness is a disease, but self-awareness is health. And all it takes is being a little bit more aware of what you're saying and what you're thinking about. And if you can just be aware, that is a huge step forward. And that is literally it. That is 1% that will make a huge difference in your life.
So you have the two things. You got to focus on building your PFC meals, your 5 proteins, your 5 fats, your 5 carbs, and really become self-aware. And from that perspective, you're starting to acknowledge that, your body and your mind. Now, the third part is lifestyle. So we're going to do rapid fire lifestyle for you. I have one lifestyle tip for you, and this is it. When you build those meals and you become self-aware, body, mind, I want you to include either a friend. I see LaRonda Wallace and Shane Mason on Sisters. I want them to do that project together, because if we can do our health with the people we love, we're starting to make it a lifestyle. So my lifestyle tip for you is that if you're on this, if you're hearing this, Steph Sharp Ward, I want you to get Charles Ward, and I want you to do these assignments together, because now you're starting to include your family, your support mechanism. And when you do that, you have a 3 times better result to live the health plan that you're living. Okay, what's your lifestyle tip, Carrie?
So here's mine, because it goes right along with yours. It's exactly what you were saying about Hope and Hunter and my daughters, Grace and Ellie. And the idea that I hear from people all the time, and I know that this is true for both of us, we want to give our kids a better life than what we had. And very often we think about it in terms of finances. I don't want my kids to have to like struggle as much as I did, or whatever it is. What I want you to really think about is around the lifestyle is exactly what Mark said, combining it with people that you love. But why? When our purpose, when our why is strong, we're going to do it more. Because if you're just trying to go lose weight for the sake of like looking certain way in a bikini, you know it's not going to look like that tomorrow. So you're just going to go eat the cake tonight, right? But when you understand that you can change your family tree, that you can give your kids something so different. Imagine what my life would have been like if at 17, I wasn't so obsessed with my body and looking a certain way that I could have done the things that Grace is doing, trying out for musicals and plays and applying to colleges so far away that I never would have even dreamed possible. You can change your family tree when you do this together, when you do this for yourself. And that to me is a why that is so deep for living this lifestyle.
Oh, Carrie, I love it. And everyone, I hope you're loving this. I see LaRonda and Shay, they just said, hey, we're bringing our mama, Lemetra, on it. I love that. I love it. I love changing the family tree. And that's the power of it. So I'm hoping everyone loved our series. This is going to be a weekly series. Some will be live, some will be videos. We're going to be popping in, and we're going to focus on 1% progress for you with your body, your mind, and your lifestyle. And our next one will be alive, and we'll announce it probably the day before, because we're going to have a great visual for you to really put these together, to understand how you can take where you are and live the life that you want with your health. Because I will promise you this, when you balance your blood sugar, everything in the world gets better. And when you understand how to address your blood sugar balance with your mindset and how you see the world, and then include the people you love, this is how we change generations. The world needs us more than it's ever needed us before. And Carrie Lipoli, I'm excited for our future together. I'm excited to keep helping people live their greatest self. Carrie, last minute of inspiration, bring us home.
It's just literally a formula. That's what we're going to be talking about. This formula for being able to live with a freedom, a food freedom, but also a life freedom. I always say confidence does not come because you've met your goals. Confidence comes when you know what you're doing is right. And when you understand little by little every day that this is a formula that you've been looking for forever, that confidence grows and grows and grows every day. This isn't a sprint or even a marathon. There's no finish line. This is literally forever. It's like a marriage between you and your body. That is a formula that you are going to be able to feel confident with, because your body will start telling you right away that it loves what it's doing.
I love that. The formula, living with food freedom. And I want to give a shout out to all the people on. I saw LaRonda and Steph and Dawn and Mary Nelson and Ricky Brown. The power about this is there's so many people that are great health professionals, great health enthusiasts that are going to be part of this series that will be in the comment section. And what we want this to be is a portal for people to win. So connect with people in the chat, feel it. There's so many cool things, and we're all teaching the power of balancing your blood sugar and living your greatest health. Carrie Lipoli, you've changed my life. We love you. And everyone, get ready because your health is going to be taken to the next level. We are just getting started. Till the next video. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Mwah.